very glad to have a special guest today, and that is Helen. Hi, Helen. How are
Hi
you?
everyone. Yes, I'm good.
Right.
How are
Um, by the way, before we get to know a little bit more about Helen and what she does, just want to recap that this channel is all about learning about the stories of courage and how all the female entrepreneurs are scaling their business, or how are they are overcoming their challenges. So we're going to learn a lot from all these entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs who are rising up with courage. And today I'm very excited to hear all about your your milestones, actually. Yeah, Helen. Yeah, you have a
you?
lot of milestones that we can be learning from today. So, by the way, Helen is the founder and creative director of Rosette Design and Co. Right? So, you want to
Yes.
share with us a little bit, about yourself first before we talk about
Yes.
your business.
Yeah, sure. Hi, I'm Helen. I'm the founder and creative director of Rosette Designs and Co. We are a wedding planning company as well as stylists here in Singapore. So I started this company about 10 years ago. So I stumbled upon this industry is actually because I'm planning my own wedding about 12 years ago. So this industry somehow intrigued me because I see the business opportunity first, but it also combined something that I like, which is business, relationship, and design. I was a designer back then, and I used a lot of design element to convey my vision to couples, and it's just naturally come out. And I'm happily married with two kids. Now my kids are 10 and 8 this year. Yeah,
10 and 8, one boy, one girl, right?
one angle, and also beyond just doing wedding and running a business, I also volunteer with Women of Courage Asia because I truly believe in personal development. Yeah, as a woman, we need to be responsible for our own growth. Yeah, so that's why.
Right. Yes, Helen is also one of the team leaders at Women of Courage Asia, and she has been building the community together with the rest of the team since the very beginning. Right. It has been a long journey. We are coming to three
Yes,
years now. So we're going to be celebrating our third anniversary on the 5th of March. Right.
yes, so
So Helen,
excited.
so excited, right? Time flies. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your business, right? Just now you mentioned, yeah, you do wedding planning, and it was a natural progression from your own wedding. That's very interesting. I think that, yeah, I hear a lot about the passion that you have in this trade. Now, uh, tell us what is so unique about your business.
Well, for us, because we are very focused on design, but we
Mm,
also don't want to don't want to neglect the coordination part of planning a wedding. So for us,
mm,
the main core service that we offer is both wedding planning and decor. And for us, we can do both together well. So you can just take decor and we execute it well. So or you can just take us for coordination. So what's unique about us, we can do both well together, and we also not just doing that, we are cross culture, so we don't just
mm.
do Chinese or Western wedding, we do a lot of Indian wedding. Yeah, Indian wedding, and even we do the traditional ceremony. So it's quite surprising for a lot of people. Like, hey, you Chinese, but you do Indian wedding. Yeah, because we have a lot of clients at Indian wedding, and sometimes we are more proficient in the ceremony, Indian ceremony, than they themselves. So that's something
Wow.
about us. And yeah, so I think we don't choose each side, wedding planner or decor. We just both basically encompasses all together, and we work in the team instead of just one man show. We
Mm.
actually work in a big team.
Right, right. And you customize and according to the needs of your clients, right? A lot of
Yes,
customizations.
yes, because I was a bride before, so I know what's most important is mainly you like to see the design, the wedding decor, the decor comes together, but you also
Mm.
don't want to stress yourself on the day itself, right, running around, right? Although it looks beautiful, but you have to running around, it's also not, you won't enjoy. So we focus on these two elements, coordination and design.
Right, right. Now, just now earlier you mentioned that it was kind of like a natural progression that you enter into this business because you plan and design your own wedding, right? But
Yeah.
while you move along, did you discover like why do you choose to stay in this business in
Yes.
the wedding industry? Mm.
So exactly. In the beginning, it's just doing the business itself because there's opportunity. But along the way, since I've been doing this for more than 10 years, there got to be something deeper, right? So I look down on myself like, why do I want to stay in this business? Because it's not easy, right? I was from a corporate background, then running service industry is very tough. But I got to know that actually it's very close to my heart that I want to help couples strengthen their marriage and start their marriage right. So for us, it's not just wedding. We actually want to journey with the couple. So we want to celebrate their wedding as we want to celebrate their wedding and also their marriage. So we have anniversary. We always remind our couple every year their anniversary, and we give them tips about how to keep the marriage strong going. And we also yes, we sometimes conduct workshop also for couples.
Wow.
So we don't just care about their wedding, but we also
Mm.
care about their marriage. So
Wow, I think that is really a business with the heart, right? You go the extra mile in not just transactional at the event, but you actually build the relationship, long-term
yes,
relationship with your clients.
yeah,
Yeah, I
because
think that's
I
beautiful.
was yeah, I think I shared maybe I shared before that I came from a family that it's very the marriage is not strong and the marriage is quite how do I say I put not very beautiful, and I suffered a lot as a child seeing my parents quarrel and even have suicidal thoughts even as a young child. So I think marriage is really important for the mental and wellness for the children. So if you keep the marriage
Mm,
strong, then yeah, your children will grow up happy and confident.
right, right. Yeah, I think that's a very key um, elements that we want to consider when you step into marriage and then proceed to parenthood, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes, it's not easy.
Mm. So yeah, thanks for sharing. And the meaning and the purpose of the business. It has
Yes,
evolved and developed more meaning and purpose
yeah.
to it. Yeah.
Yeah, because I do believe maybe I just a little on this topic because
Mhm.
if you want to go longer, right? If you want to go beyond 10 years, 20 years, you gotta be something that's deeper, right? You need to
Mm.
anchor on something deeper. So whenever you're tired or it's not easy, this is a really hard time, and people don't really appreciate the behind the scene. So yeah, I think your why very important.
Yeah, a lot of labor. It is. I mean, that involves labor intensive
Yes,
man
yes,
hours as well, right? Yeah,
yeah,
but
scalability.
but the whole thing will turn out to be so beautiful.
Yes, yeah.
Right. What about some of the struggles? I know starting out as an entrepreneur, I know you started out with the passion of designing your own wedding, but as you transit from a passion to a business, what are some of the struggles that you went through?
Um, I feel like the progression to entrepreneurship is not a struggle because it's naturally like when we put up good content, naturally people wants to hire us. So I find getting clients in the beginning is not a problem, and the business just started continuing. The challenge is when you want to scale because it's very
Mm,
time consuming and intensive and manpower intensive, right? If you want to do it all by yourself, then practically you have no life balance. Yeah, especially when you have kids. That's why a lot of wedding planner when they have kids, they somehow they will fizzle because it's so intensive and it's a
mm,
weekend. It's a weekend job. So I
right.
think my the problem lies when we want to expand, right? So that's why scalability might be an issue and also manpower an issue. So
Mm,
that's a kind of challenges that we have compared to the product
mm,
yeah business, yeah.
right, right. And it's because it requires a um, physical space also, right? for the wedding, the event
Yeah,
itself. I mean,
you have to be good. Yeah, you have to be there physically. I mean,
mm,
somebody need to, because it's service industry, right? You need to be there
mm,
to make sure the wedding go on. If you're doing the planning and coordination, and the decor is also want to make sure that it's all according to the vision. So yeah.
mm, yeah, I totally agree with you that a team, building up a team is so critical in, especially if you want to scale the business,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Initially, when I started out as a freelancer or a one man show, it can be all fun and
Yeah.
all fun. But yeah, as the business grow and as you look into scaling up the business, then there are other areas of challenges that you want to
Yeah.
look
It's a
into,
different ball
right?
game.
Different ball
Yes.
game. Yes. Yeah. I'm curious about, your mindset, in overcoming these challenges. What are some of the mindsets or belief that you encourage entrepreneurs out there to have, to in order to address some of these challenges? And what
I
are
think
some of your challenges?
Oh, I think as an entrepreneur, you gotta have resilience, and also you need to have a growth mindset. I think growth mindset is very important because when you face difficulty, right, it's
Mm,
natural you wanna quit. Like, okay, this one is a ceiling. Okay, this industry cannot grow more than myself. Then there's a ceiling. So that's the
mm,
ceiling that you need to break. Because as a leader, you have a lead, right? You need to break that lead so that your
mm,
team can grow. So I think that's
yes.
the mindset that need to overcome the limiting self belief. Like, okay, the industry is just gonna be like that. So that's the mindset that I need to overcome. Second, also the mindset of being a leader, um,
Mm,
as- because organization can only grow as much of the leader, right? So in the
mm,
beginning, I didn't know that. Didn't learn about leadership, so I have no program or training. So now I know about that. Then I actually do my own curriculum of leadership myself.
right.
So that's
Yeah.
the mindset that yeah.
Yeah. Like what John Maxwell like to say, right? Everything rise and fall on leadership.
Yeah. I
So
use a lot of John Maxwell book for me to just train myself as a leader.
yeah, very good, very good. Yeah. So yes, in order to scale the business, you want to really invest in your personal development as well as leadership skills, and having that leader's mindset is so critical. The growth mindset also, right? Yeah, I love what you
Yeah.
said about breaking that ceiling. Yeah, and creating possibilities, right? If we have the mindset of, oh, the market is saturated, oh, it's going to be like that, then yeah,
Mm.
guess what? You're not going to do anything new. You're just going to follow the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
self-talk very important also as a for entrepreneur because I feel now it's impossible if you wanna stay in the business that is so volatile right now, right? If you don't have personal development, if you don't work on yourself, I think it's very difficult as an entrepreneur.
yeah. And I believe both you and I, we have, while building our business, regardless of how big or how small, there are certain challenges that all entrepreneurs face. And if you don't address those self-sabotaging mindset or belief system, whatever endeavors or whatever ventures that you go into, halfway down the road, as soon as you meet some challenges, roadblocks, hiccups, and you know, if you don't have that strong mindset, then you tend to withdraw, you tend to give up, you tend to feel discouraged easily, yeah, and then probably spiral down into, okay, just throw in the towel.
Yeah,
Right.
true.
Yeah. So yes, personal development is very important, right, for an entrepreneur. So address those mindsets or belief systems that you have that you may find that they are actually sabotaging your growth for your business.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So then, Helen, what were some of the actions you took then to stay in the game and achieve your goals? Because we understand that pandemic happens, right? I mean,
Yeah.
COVID happens, and so many of so many companies in your industry were shaken, right? But you pivoted, right? You made
Yes.
some changes, and yeah, tell us all about that. Tell us about that.
Well, at the beginning of pandemic, I watched John Maxwell video. It's very recent, also during the pandemic, and he say that during crisis, leaders has to rise up. So good leaders or great leaders rise up to the challenge. So I decided then that I think it's before circuit breaker that I will rise up to the challenge. I will put myself above the challenge and I will fight through. So that's a decision. Like I will not give up. So
Mm.
what action I do is actually I grow with my team. So I introduce personal development to my team. Actually, before pandemic, we already started to have a session when we have personal development. I really believe my I really believe like you need to grow as a person, not just work, right? And it has been benefiting my team. All this knowledge that I've accumulate over the years about personal development, about habit, about all the productivity and mindset, and then I actually train them every Friday, twice a month, and some of them never even heard about personal development, and I feel that that is some action that helps them actually grow also in this pandemic. And also I think because of my team is the most important thing, right? I don't have products, I don't sell products, we sell service and branding. So giving out content, giving up tips and all of useful content is very important. And also I feel like as much as I want to, I mean, you cannot give what you don't have. So my job is to fill my cup so full that it's overflow, and it's on daily basis because my team look up to me, and if I am their rock and they can do their job. So for me, actually, my role, I see my role is finding directions and finding opportunity for us to grow, and then also taking care of my team. So I make sure that their mental wellness is good, because sometimes it's very draining to have 4 days of wedding. So I make sure that they are well taken care of. So I think for me to achieve my goals and stay in the game, I always work on myself.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
for me, since the beginning pandemic, right, since 2 years ago, pandemic already 2 years, I started to document what I do in IG story. I realized a lot of people actually follow, and even my team, they know, so they will also be inspired, and they do it themselves. So if they see a role model, right, is following. So yeah,
Leading
that's
by
what I do.
example.
Yeah, in the so yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with you about investing in yourself, especially the business owner. As the leader of the company, I remember those days where if we don't take and then empowering and equipping our team, right? So if we tend to just focus on just running the sales, and it's like a very individualist. You just do your own thing. You just chong and pursue your own success, and without empowering your team, then that's where the limit is, right? That just now you mentioned about the lead, how well and how far can the company expand. It's not just on a one-man show, right? You have a team. And instead of I remember those days, there's this period, I mean, learn through the hard ways lah, learn through the school of hard knocks. More time was spent counseling. You landed up spending a lot of time doing counseling. Yeah, because the mindsets and the well-being of the staff members are not aligned. Yeah,
Mm.
so if we ignore that, then it will indirectly or even directly affect the progress of the company, the growth. Yeah, so setting aside time, like you mentioned, twice a month, right? Focusing, specifically focusing on the personal development of the team. I think that is something that we all would like to learn from, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for sharing that. Yeah, I think that's a very good practice, very good habit to have in team building.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about share with us a little bit about what does courage means to you, right? Because I mean, being an entrepreneur, you have to take a lot of steps that are out of your comfort zone, I believe. right? And trying
Yes.
out new things, like you
Yeah.
just now you mentioned, right? Planning the direction and all that. So, how does courage and leadership mean? What does courage and leadership mean to you?
I think courage and leadership is really essential to entrepreneurship because it's so uncertain and you basically only depends on yourself, right? This morning I look at my friends who also were in the corporate industry, and then they tied through, and then now 10 years later they maybe go somewhere in the, climbing the corporate ladder. But for me, I deliberately choose to craft my own pathway, and it's very scary. Like you have
Mm,
no safety net, and it's
safety
only
net.
you, and the company is only depends on you. So entrepreneur is I think all entrepreneurs have courage. It's very courageous, and leadership is really needed. But leadership doesn't come naturally actually for a lot of people. I think leadership is uh, is awareness. So you need to be aware about being a leader and being a good leader. So some people may be born a good leader because they have a role model. So I was looking at how I manage my business before I know about personal development. Actually, I model a lot subconsciously with my father's way of managing business, which is I don't feel it's good. Don't take care of the staff well and all. So I and that's subconsciously I take from him. So when I started to be aware of that, and then I change, then my I can see my team grow. I can see the
Mm,
comment that they have, especially when we introduce personal development. There a lot of comments that comes from my team is say they're very surprised that I care for their well-being, for
mm,
they grow as a person. And I feel like work is not just work. Work has to encompasses the whole thing yourself, right? And you need to grow as a person. So I want my team to grow as a person to me, whether they stay forever or they don't stay long, as long as whoever comes to Rosette, they
mm.
will taste the personal development, they will taste growth in their mindset.
Yeah.
And even I have 16 years old intern, they came to intern just 1 month, and she says she by the end of the month she says she very inspired by what we do and inspired by me. So I feel like it's why we do what we do, and
Mm,
and business is just a vehicle for me. Rosette is just a vehicle for me to serve people and giving what people need, and people who wants to provide this kind of service, right? Passion. So for me, that's my role.
right, right. Yeah, I think while you are sharing, how you have grown and all that. Yeah, you just reminded me of that session that we had like many years back. I think it was quite a few years, quite a number of years back, and you were sharing about, like, you were at the point where you are scaling. You want to scale, and you want to be building your team, you know, and you were talking about how to take care of the team, how to develop them, how to ensure that they're happy working with you. Yeah. So and time flies, before I know it, before we know it now, you are building a great team, and it has been expanding tremendously at a very fast speed. So
Yes.
congratulations to that,
Thank you so
Helen.
much. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I think pandemic.
Yeah.
Pandemic also. Actually, pandemic kind of strengthened my belief in this industry, because event industry might collapse, right? But wedding will continue. I mean, everybody needs to get married, and everybody don't want to compromise their wedding just because there's a pandemic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are there for them even at this point, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that while we are strong, right, we can help our vendors who are really badly affected by event industry. So we are like their main source of income. So I think I'm just glad that we can be there for them.
Right. Wonderful. Yeah, and during the pandemic, I understand we all heard about you, moving, pivoting, and conducting a lot of online weddings, right? We're moving from the
Yeah, virtual weddings.
on-site to the virtual weddings. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So just think out of the box, be creative. Yeah, and create possibilities, right? Yeah.
yes.
Wonderful. How about let's talk about another thing that is very close to my heart also, and which is core values. Do you have a set of core values that you anchor to, and what are they? What are these core values that you
Yes.
have?
Well, basically, our core value first is relationship.
Mm,
Relationship with uh, people around. I mean, the team, the relationship with our couples. But okay, relationship is the base of why Rosette exists, right? But our value,
mm,
the core one is love. Love is we do things out of love and
mm,
service. And we have seven core value. I
mm,
every year we have to recite this. It's called recite this. We have love, service, integrity, open communication, and clarity, growth, and collaborative. So
mm,
these are our core values, right? That open community is very important for. Sorry, open communication. So open
mm,
communication is very important because we don't tolerate any politics and backstabbing here. And with the environment is all women. It could be. I mean, you can bring in your baggage. So we don't we make sure that we curate people who are positive mindset, positive have positive mindset, and also willing to grow. Yeah.
mm,
In the past, I don't really have set of guidelines. So
mm,
whoever comes, there whoever wants it comes. But then turns out the culture is is really mixed up. Like the culture is not what I want. So now we are building a
mm.
culture. So yeah, Rosette have a
Yeah,
culture.
right. I think the core values really anchored in developing. It's like the foundation in building the culture, the environment for the workspace, right? For all your staff and team members to
Yes.
grow.
and
Yeah.
and also as a leader, you need to walk the talk. You cannot just say,
Mm.
okay, this is our core value, but you actually don't love your staff. You don't do service. You don't have integrity. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The leader is the role model, right? The role model. Yeah. So lead by example. Yeah, I'm
Mm.
glad that you came on and share with us all these things because these are what are important in our community. In not only in Women of Courage Asia, but as well as her Courage Business Network, which is the female entrepreneurs platform, where we want to build our business with a set of core values, right? With leadership mindset, and courage. Yeah, and in her Courage Business Network, her actually, we talk about honor, right? Honor is our core of ethics in doing the business. Empathy, right? We want to do business with the heart. Yeah, like what Helen shared. It's not just about transactions, but really to care for your clients, right? You not only just care for their wedding, but you care about their marriage as well. Yeah, the empathy and of course, responsibility, being responsible with being a good steward, right, of the business that we are running. We are adding value to our clients' life, yeah, meeting their needs, providing that solution. So we encourage, like-minded women entrepreneurs to come together, right? Like Helen said, we grow together, have a growth mindset, where iron sharpens iron, yeah, and and let's share these very good values, right? All these core values that Helen has laid out and has successfully created a very healthy culture for her business, for her company. I think that's something that's worth learning from her as well. Yeah. So thank you very much, Helen, for sharing your
Yeah.
experience. And I know that the third anniversary are coming up at Women of Courage Asia third anniversary. You are going to be you are one of the panelists, right?
Yes. Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you. Such an honor.
Yeah, and that panel discussion is all about your power of influence through your leadership. So we're going to discuss about topics relating to the power of influence through leadership. Yeah, and all the panelists are leaders in their own sphere of influence, right? For Helen, she has already built up her credibility in the wedding industry, in this industry. So you would want to come and hear from her, right? And learn from her more from at the anniversary. So we'll see you there, and to RSVP, because seats are very limited, right, due to the safety measure. But just go to our Women of Courage.asia website and register, right? Register as soon as possible. It's happening on the 5th of March. Yeah. And Helen, how do our audience going to find you? How they where can they go to
Yeah,
look for? Mm,
You can follow me in Instagram, Hellen Lie at
mm,
Hellen Lie, and you can
at
go to
Helen
our
Lee.
yes, and you can also go to our Instagram in rosettedesigns.com,
Mm.
rosettedesigns.com. Yes, yeah,
RosetteDesign.com, right? So
design
yeah, so
Rosette Designs.
yes, so connect with Helen, right, at her at Instagram. She is very active in Instagram, so yeah, all the information will be put in the description as well, right? Rosette Designs and Co. And then at Helen Lee, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Okay.
also you have a podcast, right? You want to mention
Yes,
a bit
I
about your podcast? Yeah.
last year I started a podcast. I wanna also talk to people who have built businesses, build community. Lilian is my first guest, and I am trying to go for the second season because that's the
Mm.
first season, and then I'll try to build more community for that. Yes, but I will continue on the podcast.
Yeah. What's the name of your podcast?
It's called No Ordinary Story with Helen Lee.
No Ordinary Story with Helen Lee. All right, check that
Yes,
out. Yeah, so thank you again, Helen, for setting aside your time here. And we hope that the sharing and this conversation has added value to your lunchtime. Right, so stay tuned. Join us every lunchtime with more entrepreneurs coming on board to share their experiences and story of courage. Okay,
wonderful.
thank
Okay,
you.
so much.
Bye.